Howdy everyone, welcome back to the channel. I hope you all had a great rest. Hope you all had a great day today. But it's about midnight right now. So the last kind of parts that part was painted up was the Broussard collector. So I figured today I would be painting up the not sure what you'd call it. It's a stick that fits right through the radar dish here, but also clips into this guy right here. That'd be at the front of the engineering section, and that's the same color. That color that is going to be used will also be used on this guy, which goes inside the Broussard collector, as you can see here. There you go. So, I'm just gonna clip these little suckers off here if I can find. There they are, right behind the camera. Just gonna clip pieces off. Now I could just take the knife and just snap them off, but sometimes you just want to use those tools that you do have, and not just use the knife all the time. Now this is an older pair of clippers. The new ones they make are a lot better. Such as this one is, the blades kind of twist on themselves, kind of like an X. So, but newer ones face the same way, where it's so that way you have a flat side where you can snug up against things, and it's also tilted just a little bit. That way you don't have something like that. Or again, the blades are tilted towards each other instead of like this. So do with that as you will. But hey, if you like me and you like the tools you have, it's good enough. Alright, how's that going? Okay, that's pretty good. Okay, cleaned off pretty well. Now I will be painting this entire thing here. I'm going to use a couple different pliers. Oh, where'd those other ones go? Dang. I don't remember. I don't know. Actually, there are those ones. Dang. I had a third pair of pliers here somewhere. Pardon me 1 second here. I don't know where it went. I guess I'll find it later. And then these pliers here go for this guy. And then when I'm done with it, I'll just set it on top and then just set it down. That way it dries. Brush. I think I'll probably use one of these two crappier looking ones-ish. I'll use this. Probably use that one. All really depends on what you want to use. Just paint up this guy here. And don't be afraid to get any paint on your tools. They're meant to get dirty. They're meant to get painted on. That's what tools are. Now, if you're one of those people who likes to keep his tools clean, I got no problem with that. Come on. Let's get paint off there. Now, if you have too much paint in one area, just wipe some paint off on a paper towel, and just go back to painting. And the brush will suck everything up. It'll consume the paint. If there's too much paint in a small section, it will consume that. So that's nice. Okay, now we got this. Got the clear piece right here that goes beneath the Barsar collector. Now, this won't be a super long video here. So, there's some things I will have to do in preparation for the next video. Is that I will prep my painting surfaces for the nacelles, in that they're ready for painting, such as the case with the last nacelle. You painstakingly kind of, I wouldn't say watch, but more like listen to me put the paint on. So that is something I do not want to repeat, just because it went too long. So I will show you in the next video. What you will see is the end result of what it will look like, so that way you folks have a general idea on masking off areas of the nacelle in order to paint. So that's kind of my hope, is that it's able to help someone out there who is having trouble with the nacelles and isn't sure of what to do. So that's my hope for these videos. Do I need to? Okay, that's fine. Wait a minute. That could use a little bit more painting. We'll have to spray paint that piece up again. And get off. Just push that off. Now, since I do have to spray paint this piece again, which is the end cap on the nacelle, I can actually spray paint these two guys, the pylons. Would you call them pylons? I think so. Those which hold the nacelles. So I can paint all those up. So that'll be fun. Seriously, where did that last one go? I'll find it. Okie dokie, let's find. There we go. Let's get that sucker right there. There we go. Put that sucker there. Go. Okay. So the bottoms of these pieces, you have a little point sticking out, which goes into this piece. And then for this guy, you have this piece right here. That'll help with placement on the lower engineering hull. So I'm doing it like that, so I don't have to tape anything down. I could tape it down. That's fine. So just crap. I may have to get another can of Light Ghost Gray. Might have to get might have to get a second one, like 2 more, honestly. One more coat. That should do it for that. So we'll let all that dry here. I can't really do anything else. Well, actually, I could. Actually, if I had my other pair of tweezers. I mean, I can still do what I want to do. Just wish I had my other pair of tweezers. That's another thing I should get. It's another pair of tweezers. Let's see. That stinks. Okay, that's that. This thing. That's odd. Yeah, I don't know where it went. Either it fell down somewhere here. I'll look for it another time. I won't bore you with that. How'd that look? I'll get it again. I'll paint it again if I have to. Put that right there. So, anything else? Actually, I can clip these off here. So these parts here are these two and this guy right here. So I'll take, oh, there they are. I was holding that guy. That's the end cap of the cell, to which I intend to paint. To which I think we'll paint now. Can't paint it. Can't paint it. Got a little bit of spruce hanging off of it. So if any of you are wondering what's kind of like what spruce is, see that little crusty part right there? That is what they call spruce. So we're now, if you do have this on your Enterprise, if you do kind of have that, I just go in there carefully. Don't try to ding too much of it up. Okay. Move your hand over it. See how it feels. Do any excess trimming before you start painting, in case some of the excess trimming goes on is your painted section. So great crap. Shoot. All right, a little too much. So take that off. Take that. Should be good. And then what are we gonna need? What is letter C? Medium gray. Neutral. Nope. There's my medium gray. So I'll have to paint the clear piece that I painted silver. This guy that I had painted silver, I'll have to go back and paint those again for a second time. I missed a few spots. So that is one thing you will have to do, is go back and paint certain spots. So, and also when you're painting new parts, just make sure you shake up your paint canisters. Because sometimes when you start painting, paint doesn't come out right, and it's like, that's weird, what's wrong with it? So I recommend you, before you start painting, always shake up your canister. I know this is probably something that everybody knows, but it's good to reiterate it. So, just gonna take our thing here. So this won't be too long a piece to paint. So again, I won't bore you with all the painting and the nacelles. I'll just mask that off. That'll probably be a short video itself. So I don't want to bore you with too much. I've already probably bored you guys with just other stuff. See, I can tilt it down if you want me to. I'll tilt it down. So you can tilt it down just a little bit more. There we go. I'm just trying to show you guys what I do. So if you're ever painting, you really don't want to get your hands dirty, and you have enough room to get a pair of tweezers on here, go ahead and use it. Use all the tools that are at your availability. Because you never know what kind of tool will come in handy. If you're a part like this, these little tweezers here are really, really nice. They work superb. They are superb. They work great. They work really, really well for a part like this. Especially, there are a lot of times where I really don't want to get my hands dirty. Especially if, say, if you were out working not too long ago and you really don't want to get your hands dirty again. So, you use whatever is at your disposal. Oh, come on, I want that. Okay. I'll put my glasses on so I can also see. Alright. Get my hand in front of it. So if I can get it. Okay, so you see the color. So there's your light ghost gray there. And you can see on the bottom, those bottom pieces, you can see the color difference a little bit. Let's see, to get under there. And if you have to, paint the entire piece if it makes you feel better. Okay, we're almost done here. Again, I'm not painting the entire piece. That option is of your own accord. I'm just merely showing you your options of what there is when it comes to painting all this. So, paint however you want to. That's what makes that's what makes hobbies so fun. You can do whatever you want. You get to see what other people have done, and you get to leave your own mark on it, which is really, really nice sometimes. Now I know that people, when it comes to building, like doing things, I know when like fans of Star Trek, they really want to get the details right. And I applaud them for that. I do. But sometimes you want to put in just a little bit of effort to make it look nice. But you don't want to go all out because that's even more work than you really want. So I understand that. I'm kind of like that as well. Not that saying, I'm not saying to put the minimal work in, but if you're someone who really likes some of those small details, then go for it. And sometimes you just don't want to do a lot of details. You just want to do small things. And that is okay. Do it however you want. That is the beauty of hobbies. And in this case, models. Let's do an example of Star Trek ships. Uh, Now in the movies, this model right here, the refit version, seen in the first in motion picture Wrath of Khan and The Search for Spock. All those show up as white, not gray. I still think it's white, although it does say gray. Now, if I were to get another one of those kits, I would do it up in white. Now, let me show you here. Let me dry off my paintbrush here. I will show you something. That's pretty good. Alright. Open up the box here. Now, I do think it's white. I really do. But that's why we're going to give it a try. Now, it says... What does it say? It says light ghost gray for the hull color. This is light ghost gray. Now, I don't think that's actually the proper color, to be honest. Maybe I'm just watching it on DVD. But, yeah. This is white. This is white right here. This is the sausage section. That is white. Now, I could, if I really wanted to, I could buy two more of these kits, and I could fiddle around with flat white, glossy white, semi-gloss white. I could fiddle around with 3 different whites. Now, I think you can find like a base white color, but I have not found any of those. Sometimes I've tried looking at some of my local places that sell paints, and you only see flat, gloss, semi-gloss, enamel colors. You really can't find base color, at least for the paints that I have, such as choose a color, metallic copper or metal copper, whatever it is. I have hard time. I can't even find just like the copper color itself. That's why I have metallic colors, flat colors, all that sort of thing, or even like semi gloss, those kind of things. Or maybe it's just me that I don't know. Well, I have a hard time finding some of those colors, but that's fine. It gives the ship a different look than what you would see on a DVD, on TV, anything, basically. So, yeah, that is number 22. Let's do that. Gotcha. Okay, that's pretty good. Okay. Okay. So the cell is almost ready. I still have to paint up the halves. Gotta make sure that all my parts are ready. I think that's kind of it for now, for tonight. Is there anything else I wanted to talk about? I don't think so. Well, actually, I did. I had said before that I had really wanted to give a shout out to these guys who really gave me a lot, who love Star Trek. Let's talk about a couple of them. Now, one that I did mention in the last video who does a lot of modeling, a lot of Star Trek models. He loves to put lighting kits in them. It's a all-scale Trek preview builds. Again, all-scale Trek preview builds. He does a lot of modeling kits for Star Trek. He's got some for Star Wars. He even did the one for this guy. This is the 1/2500th scale Strange New Worlds, or actually Discovery version of the Enterprise. He was able to put a lighting kit up with that guy. That is amazing. And then he's also done the 1/1000 scale Strange New Worlds Enterprise. He's done all of these guys. He has done the Shenzhou. He has done the Discovery. He has done Space Seed Enterprise. He has done a lot of Star Trek models, and he was actually one of those guys that first popped up when looking for that. And he didn't have much videos on it, so my hope is that this video will help those. And I think, and I'm not sure. I can't speak too much on that. I don't think I've watched all of his video on that. So again, he's a really great YouTuber if you just want to watch his builds. And he's actually done a couple kits of just 1/2500th scale. He's done one like Allies and Adversaries, which includes Klingon, Romulan, Federation. What else? Federation, Cardassian ships. He actually just did one a couple hours ago of the Enterprise ships, like all Enterprise, from the NX-01 all the way up, I think, up to the, I want to say the Enterprise B? I could be wrong. So he does a lot of Star Trek model kit builds. I'm going to turn this down just a little bit. I'm also going to give a shout out to Certifiably In-Game. What does he do? He also talks about Star Trek. He talks about the ships, the lore in universe, the ships themselves. So he's one of those other guys that likes to also talk about ships. Let's give an example. The USS Franklin from Star Trek Beyond. He goes into a deep dive of the history of that. Goes into weaponry, dimensions, all those kind of things. So he's also another really, really great channel who does that kind of shit, who does that kind of as well. Another one similar to him that does about the same thing, but a little bit different. I think I'd have to watch them both, but they're both about the same, but they have their own flair to it. That one would be Triangulum Audio Studios. He also does the same thing as Certified In-Game. Again, kind of the same thing, but they all have their own little twist. That's what makes them both unique from each other. He has a little bit longer videos. He talks about other ships, also in lore. He does Kelvin ships. He also talks lore as well. He also did one video. Was it him? I don't think it was him. I think it was someone else. Maybe it was him. He talked about the constitutions, all the TOS show constitutions, all of those ones that were in service. Obviously, the big one for Star Trek news, media, all that related stuff is Trek Central, and they actually did a video on the origins of the Borg. And some come from books, some comes from other media. One actually comes from a game. It's sort of a simulator. It's a flight sim type game, but with starships, called Star Trek Legacies. That came out for the 360, developed by Bethesda, or was it published by Bethesda? But it's a fun game of itself, and that has its own origins with the Borg. and so they included that in their video. So it's not anything. So if you look up Star Trek Legacy's Xbox 360, you can find playthroughs of that. And it's a fun ship. It's got every ship you can think of, all the way from the NX, all the way up to TNG. So it's got all those ships. And then one of my other favorite ones is Rowan J. Coleman. He is a really, really fun YouTuber to watch if you just want to watch anything TOS related, TOS shows, TOS movies, TNG movies, DS9, Voyager, the Kelvin movies. He does retrospectives. He does retrospective for he does retrospective for each movie, and then he also does one big video of, say, all the TNG movies, all the TOS movies. So he's one of those fun ones. He goes into detail about how everything started, what production was like, what the nightmare was behind everything. Just like everyone just button heads, issues between writers and directors, all that sort of thing. So he's a really, really great one. If you want me to put their names, actually I'll probably put it down in the description to give y'all an easier time to go find these guys. So I really encourage you guys watch them if you want just something about like just news about TV shows, movies. I recommend Trek Central. If you want to learn about ships, I would recommend either Certifiedly In-Game or Triangulum Audio Studios. If you want to watch anything about Star Trek models, you can find a whole bunch of that stuff. But I do recommend All Scale Trek preview builds. Now, if you want to learn about like the shows and the movies, those kind of things, Rowan J. Coleman. I highly recommend those guys. Now, I'll definitely put those probably in the comment or in the description. We'll see. But those are some of the main YouTubers who I go and watch just to go and watch them again. Sometimes I go and watch Rowan J. Coleman's retrospective videos again. Sometimes I'll watch the long ones. Sometimes I'll just watch the individual things for everything. And he does go into deep dives of he does also talk about like things that the fans did like versus what the fans didn't like. I think he also what does he talk about? I think he just talks about the movies and shows. He also talks about a whole bunch of other stuff. But these 5 channels here, they do all have Star Trek in common. So I highly recommend those guys for if you want to get anything about Star Trek related, whether it be models or media. So those guys are fun to watch. Their videos are immaculate. I have nothing bad to say about them. I really don't. Now, no, I really don't have anything to say about them. One might just be a nitpick, but I won't go into that. That's for you guys to decide and figure out who you want to watch. I think that's it. Yeah, I really got nothing else. Let's see here. The next video that we'll do is, again, some of the stuff you'll see on camera, some of the stuff you'll see off camera. Off camera will definitely be me masking up these 2 parts here for the nacelle. Like I said, I don't want you guys having to painstakingly watch me do those videos, so I'll give just something for y'all, so that way, just so you can have an easier time watching things. So, yeah, I really got nothing to say, honestly. Usually a short video for me is probably around 15. I know a lot of people, I will say one thing about YouTube when it comes to like people's attention span, and that's fine. People don't have to watch the stuff if they don't want to. But I have seen videos of people talking about how people's attention span is so short, and that's kind of sad. Because if their attention span is very low on things, they aren't able to focus on a lot of things. So, and I've kind of realized that myself. I have a low attention span a little bit, but I at least try to watch videos all the way through, and I encourage you guys to as well. That'll help. Yes, 60-second videos or 30-second videos for YouTube Shorts are nice to go through. It helps time pass by, but I do recommend long-form videos for all you guys out there. So I really don't have anything else. The next after this again will be my charger, and then we'll move on to the B25, and then from there we'll pick whatever. I think I'll pick whatever one I want to do next. It's funny how it turned in just a couple of models, and now I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Not counting this one, but if I did, that's 12 models. That's crazy. I don't have much else to say. These parts are drying. Again, some of the stuff I will do off camera. I really do want to try some other things, such as, let's see, kind of tilting the camera down so that way you can see me paint. I imagine for some people they like to watch people paint their stuff, so, and that's fine. If you want me to do that, I can do that. That's something I really like to try, because it's no fun just watching my big forehead and just watching me put my head down while I paint stuff. So that's, again, I'm saying that's pretty much it every few seconds, because I really don't have much else to talk about. But I will say one thing, is that I am super excited to be putting this together, because I mean, it's the Enterprise. Why the heck not? So, one thing I did toy around with is that when I'm done, I kind of want to bring it to work and just kind of show it off a bit, honestly. Now, I'm not one to draw attention to myself, but you could say, like, well, aren't you bringing attention to yourself, just bringing it? And you're right, I am. It's a love-hate relationship kind of thing. Like, you want to be recognized, but you don't want to be recognized in the fact that you don't want to be that guy who's looking for attention in the wrong way. Let me break that down a little bit better. If you bring something to work, I think what you want is for people to admire. Well, for me, I'd want people to admire what was built, not who built it. That kind of thing. Because I think there are people out there who want to be admired for what they did, but in this case, I want people to just admire just the thing that was built, not them. Now, questions, yes, can be asked. That's no problem. That's okay. I like answering questions. And I like talking about things that I love to do. Now, I can talk about those things, I wouldn't say ad nauseum, but for some people it might get a little annoying. So at times I like to talk a lot. I talk too much sometimes, I guess. And that might turn some people off. And then again, I don't really get out much. The only times I do, if I'm either going to the model shop or I'm going to work, or sometimes the rare movie. That's about it. Or I'm going to watch someone's pet, or just talk, or just, I don't know, that's about it. So, so I, so that's me. That's kind of my predicament about a lot of things. But I do want to talk about some stuff. The last model I built before the Enterprise was the USS Arizona. I actually wrote a report on that. It wasn't for school or anything. I'm out of high school. But that was just more of just my own little personal thing. I have talked about my faith a little bit, and one verse that kind of comes to mind when I wrote the report is that I've held kind of dear to my heart is Deuteronomy 32:7, which says, "Remember the days of old, consider years thy many generations. Ask thy father, and he will show thee thy elders, and they ask thy father, and he will show thee thy elders, and they will tell thee." I think it's been a while since I've read the verse, and that verse came out of an audio series called Jonathan Park, and that whole thing, that verse came out, that team, the episode was set on Iwo Jima. Now the recording team didn't go to Iwo Jima; it was all recorded in studio. So there was a little bit of history about that, and that one really spoke out to me, and that kind of brought me a little bit into history. And I wrote that to remember those who served on the Arizona, to remember their sacrifice. So, and I may just write a report on this sucker here, on this guy. Now, I will say, one thing I am good at is that when I wrote the report, I really dove in to a bunch of the history to try to put together a kind of a package, if you will, kind of her history. Now if I do a report for this guy, it's gonna be no different. It's gonna be a package, if you will, package on how kind of the show started, how the ship was designed, and how it was brought to life. And currently, she is sitting in the Smithsonian Museum, in Washington D.C. I think. I could be wrong. And one thing they did do for that ship is they actually had to do a bit of restoration on her because she was falling apart at the pylons right at the base of it. So what they did was they removed everything they could, kind of revitalized, kind of gave her a new coat of paint, if you will. Yeah, they reinforced areas. They made sure everything was good for her. Was it 50th anniversary? I think they were unveiling at the Smithsonian, I believe. So, I mean, now there have been movies that have solidified their part in history in like the what do you call it, in the Hollywood, not that, in the realm of like movies and shows, but none other has been able to hold its own against a lot of it's been able to hold its own for more than 50 years, and other things have done that, but Star Trek itself has had one of the biggest impacts in our culture. It's the tricorders. That was basically their cell phone, the tricorders, and here I am. I'm recording on an iPhone or Samsung, whatever it is. So that kind of that not only created a Star Trek culture of people who could kind of geek out, nerd out over all that stuff, but it also drew people and like makers drew inspiration from that and created new technology in medical field, in like in the defense areas, Just in general, a lot of things. Like it's had the biggest. What is that word? Like it's had the biggest impact on on the fans. People, that's kind of what they do. A lot of people go around collecting the stuff. A lot of people go around building models. They go around making their own gear for this stuff. Like like it's yes, it's had its ups and downs, but it still managed to capture that feeling of the unknown. It's like it is. Um, what captured that kind of thing of the unknown was the what do they call that? The opening monologue, if you will, of Star Trek. Space, the final frontier. These are the voyages of the Starship Enterprise. Her mission: to explore strange new worlds, to seek out new life and new civilization, to boldly go where no one has gone before. And what it created in that was a sense of adventure. And that, I believe, is what many people are definitely craving, is adventure. And you know what? And I will say, let's bring in the Indiana Jones folks in. That those movies created a sense of adventure. Stargate, the show Stargate created a sense of adventure. All those sci-fi shows, all those adventure movies. Adventure, mystery, suspense. That is what people really, really want. They really want to go. There are people, if you've seen that meme, that guy, if you've seen that meme kind of directed at guys, is that men would drop their jobs if to circumnavigate, what was it? If there was an expedition calling all men for a sense of adventure, they would drop everything and go on that. No doubt about it. I mean, I myself would probably would. Or on an expedition to Egypt to uncover lost Egyptian secrets. Not only that, it's like the sense of action, if you will. Star Trek, Indiana Jones, Star Wars, all those shows. Action, adventure, mystery, suspense. Those. Let me write that down. Action. Action, adventure, suspense, and mystery. That is what a lot of us guys really want to experience. Yes, we can experience it in video games. You can even experience that a little bit in Indiana Jones: The Great Circle. It does give that, but nothing would make a guy more happier than to experience that. And that's what these shows created. It created a sort of subculture for some of us within those groups, within Stargate subculture, Star Trek, Indiana Jones, those things, to be able to express ourselves in those. There are people who like the character of Spock. He is straightforward. He's very logical thinking. He's always wondering about many things. He finds a lot of things fascinating. So there are people who are drawn to the mind of Spock. They're drawn to the mind of Indiana Jones. all these characters, someone is drawn to that character because of what they embody, how they hold themselves, or just how the actor acts, what they bring to the table. And that's really what this all creates. All these shows, these movies, they bring out something within us to express ourselves in some ways we can't express in ways that we can't express ourselves through, say, normal channels, through speaking. And I have a hard time sometimes expressing myself as well, and I've had help because my siblings know me a little bit better than I know myself, so they understand that. So, and through the media we consume, it helps us. Now I'm going to go with movie and TV show culture. I'm not going to bring politics into this, but movie and TV show culture, and within those subcultures, people grab a hold of characters to be able to express themselves because they see it's like that character. I also agree with how they present things, and that's what gravitates them towards that character. Now, I do find Mr. Spock interesting. I think one of my favorite characters is right now it's a toss-up since I've watched Strange New Worlds. Now I probably have to put both of them on equal. Indiana Jones is one of my favorite characters. He is one of those things that every guy really wants to be. Now, an archaeologist, not everyone may not want to be an archaeologist. Maybe they love the action and adventure side of things as a mystery as well. And it's like the scene in Raiders, the map room scene. That scene itself is one of the best scenes. All you hear is the music and what you watch in that map room. That scene right there is one of the best scenes ever. Now the truck chase is also one of those other great scenes, but the map room scene is just where you sit in silence and you watch it. It's one of the best scenes in that movie. Pike is also one of my favorite characters. I know people do prefer Jim Kirk, one of those cocky type kind of guys, a maverick, if you will, a maverick. Now, Pike, on the other hand, I gravitate to one of his key characteristics. And he will do what is necessary to save the lives of his crew. He'll disobey orders. If you've all watched Star Trek, if you've all watched Strange New Worlds, the season 2, was it the 10th episode, I think? Is that in that episode, what he said to his crew, and he would only take volunteers. He wouldn't order anybody. He was going to go down himself. But he did ask for volunteers. He said he would take volunteers, and people did come because he inspired them. It's the inspiration that comes from him that really I gravitate towards too. And it's leaders like that that really pull people, that really brings people together. So that's kind of the thing I've got with everything. So, and that's the beauty of movies. It gives you have a favorite characters. So, and sometimes I will say we are scared to show, and say if we have a gift for something. We have a gift for like me. It's one of those things. When I what's something? I'm more of a jack of all trades kind of guy. Um, let's see, I really don't know, honestly. I'd have to think about that a little bit more. But sometimes we are afraid to kind of show people that side of ourselves. And I know I am too. Because we just don't know how they're going to react. Like, I still don't know how. Like, I've told a couple of people about my YouTube channels, a few family members, but sometimes I'm a little bit hesitant and scared and worried just what the other family members will think. I know people say you shouldn't worry about what other people think, and to that extent, I do disagree with you just a little bit, because it's just like, that's fine. You really don't know how people are going to react to kind of the things you kept secret. So we all are scared of something, no matter how much we say, oh, we're not scared of anything, we're not scared of this, but deep down we do have some fears. And some people say, what fears hold you back? And they do, but sometimes maybe those fears are true, but we really don't know. And even I am scared to, like, I overreact. Like when it comes to things in my head, I kind of overthink. I pray about it, because a small part of me, that voice doesn't even speak. That voice is more of in the chest, but that small part of me knows that when you want to talk to someone, when you want to say something to someone about a part of you, that small part of you probably knows that it's not going to go the way you thought it would go in your head. And all the while you're thinking of this wildly outlandish thing that's going on in your head. So I pray about it sometimes. Actually, I do pray about it a lot, because otherwise I just go nuts in my head, end up overthinking way too much. So I don't know about you guys, but like I said it before, I'll say it again. I am excited to show you the final stages when I am more than ready to get this ship finally put back together. I've got a little bit more painting. I'll have to go to the hobby store to get 2 more cans of paint of the light ghost gray. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces to paint up. At least got 2 pieces for that section. I have those 2, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep, 6 pieces to paint up. So I hope y'all enjoyed this video. It's definitely a long one. I do want to get into a few more of these kind of topics, because it does interest me. So if you want me, I'll definitely put these guys in the description so you can go check them out. Again, people who want to see this guy see Star Trek models, all scale Trek preview builds. If you want to watch someone about ships, either certifiably in-game or Triangulum Audio Studios. If you want to watch anything related to Star Trek, news about movies or other stuff, Trek Central. Now, if you really want to watch retrospectives on the movies or shows, I recommend Rowan J. Coleman. Again, these are all fantastic YouTubers in their own right. So, with that, I will bid you all farewell, good night, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace.